Welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. Yes, I'm not doing an experiment today. That's right, I'm not doing an experiment. I'm actually rebrewing a beer I brewed last year that was freaking amazing. And I'm changing it up just a tiny bit based on lack of malts. And I want to add a little more head retention and dry hop the hell out of it compared to what I did previously. So, if you remember the video where I did the Raging Itch, should we say? It's a Belgian IPA called Raging Bitch from Flying Dog. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing. Definitely appreciate the sharing. It just was an amazing beer. It just was. And give you a quick rundown on the grain bill. It's not a big one. It's fairly decent, but it's not a big one. It's up there, what, maybe just over 10 pounds. So we got 4 pounds, 10.8 ounces, as you can tell what I was running out of. Marris Otter, 4 pounds, 4.2 ounces of pale malt 2-row. Wasn't running out, but I had to compensate for the lack of Marris Otter. 1 pound of Rye Malt, 8 ounces of caramel, 60L, 4 ounces of carapils. That was an addition that I didn't have last time. And corn sugar, 1 pound. I also reduced everything slightly because I wanted to get the ABV down because the ABV was crazy. Last time it was well over 8, and this time I'm kicking it up hopefully around the 7.5%. Last time I think it was like 8.7. It was just too much. Great beer, but too much ABV. For the hops, we've got a lot of hops. We're only doing Columbus and Amarillo. I've got Columbus at 60 minutes, 0.85 ounce. Then at 15 minutes, I have half an ounce of both Amarillo and Columbus. 5 minutes, I have a half an ounce of both Amarillo and Columbus. Then I have a 10-minute whirlpool with 1 ounce of each, Amarillo and Columbus. We're pitching Belgian Ardennes Wyeast 3522. I love that yeast for a Belgian IPA. It just really kicks it and has a little spice to it. It's just great. Then dry hopping. Technically, we're dry hopping with 5 ounces. We're doing 2.5 ounces of Amarillo, 1.5 ounces of Columbus, and 1 ounce of Cryo Columbus, which I guess theoretically would be like 6 total ounces of hops. And we're gonna run for 5 days instead of 3 days. So that really should kick it up nice. This is currently saying I should be around 7.6. I'm thinking we might end up around 7.5% ABV, which would be good. Be kind of the magic spot. Feel like I should have brought it down a little more, but baby steps, baby steps. So I've got my rye. Yes, I love my rye. Got the malts, just need to crush them, mash them in, and let's get brewing. Jaded Scylla, Anvil Foundry, mash paddle. We're good. What else do we need? We're at 149. We're gonna go ahead and get mashed in, and before we do that, I gotta get my brewing salts. I'll put the brewing salts up here as usual. Just gonna dump those in. As you can imagine, got quite a bit of gypsum. It is raining off and on today, and it feels like almost 100 degrees according to the weather. It is hitting up in the low 90s, but yeah, welcome to Florida. The price we pay not to freeze to death. Okay, if you may remember the grain bill, we had some rye, good old rice hulls. Lay them on top. I like to mix them in, but they float, so as long as they're on top and the grains get mixed in, it'll be fine. Okay, here we go. Okay, gonna let that sit for a second while I get it ready to start recirculating. Kick the pump on. Ooh, it's actually a little more than I wanted. That's a little less than I want. There we go, that looks pretty. Like a little tinkle. It's all good. We're gonna let that go for 75 minutes at 149. Then we'll bring it up to 168 for 10 minutes. Sparge out. If I don't melt to death first, I got some nasty clouds heading my way. You can probably see them, kind of dark, but we shall see. Okay, we've been here for 75 minutes. It's doing pretty good. It's going up and down by about 1 degree. Moved it to 70 from 65. Just keep it there. We're gonna crank it up to 168. We'll be there for 10 minutes. Take about 5 minutes to get there, and then we'll sparge out. I like to kick the percentage of power 100% to get there quickly. There we go. And I still got a little bit of water on top of here from the rain. Rain, heat, humidity. Welcome to Florida. Pretty much anywhere honestly, except for we normally have a good breeze and we don't freeze to death. So it's all good. Bingo, 168. We're gonna be here for 10 minutes and then we'll sparge out. Already heating up the sparge water. Okay, it's time to pull the grain basket out and get ready to sparge. I'm gonna let the temp sit where it is for now, and we'll just turn off the pump, lift it all out, and it is the ring, because yes, I've yet to change this one. I have found taking this thing off makes it less prone to falling. And then I'm gonna clamp it too. Seems pretty sturdy. Let's see if we can do this. And there we go. Okay, we're gonna let that drain for a little while before I crank it up. And I'm gonna go get the sparge water so we can get that taken care of. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and sparge and we'll jump forward a bit. Okay, we're gonna let that drain for a little bit and then I'll crank it up to a boil and we'll rock and roll. And here comes the rain again. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna take this off, get ready and start cranking it up so we can get a boil going. And because this is the one I've had a few of the E3s, it's my older unit, I'm gonna rub the bottom real quick with my mash paddle. Okay, we have a nice raging boil, or boil coming up to a rage, however you want to say it, for the Raging Bitch IPA. Yeah, got my defoam just in case nearby. I gotta grab the hops real quick because we have a hop addition right in the beginning. I may have to let it boil a little extra before I'm ready, but once we get the first hop in, I gotta keep up with it. Okay, so probably been boiling for about 20 minutes. Now we're gonna kick off our 60 minutes. So we'll have a little more boil off, it's fine. As long as I end up where I'm trying to end up, of course, which is 5 gallons. Got my timer going, so we're gonna start that all right now. Hit timer 1, timer 2, and timer 3, since I have 3 different things going on. There we go. Cold hop additions, those are the different things going on. Got a new hop bag. Actually, I won't say new, but another one because the old ones all fell apart. And it is our first hop addition. It's 0.85 of Columbus. Looking quite pretty too in there. There we go. Get a little recirc around because I hate leaving the wort in the tube. There we go. We don't have to keep it going. I just want to get that stuff out of the pipe. Okay, we got 60 minutes. We got 43 before the next hop addition, 53 for the second hop addition, and then we got a 10-minute whirlpool after cooling things down a little bit. Okay, we just hit the second hop addition. This is half an ounce of Columbus, half an ounce of Amarillo. Okay, we got about 2.5 minutes for this bad boy. Tells me I need my 5-minute hop addition, which is 1 ounce of, it's 1 ounce, but it's a half an ounce of Amarillo, half an ounce of Columbus. I'm gonna go ahead and drop in a little yeast nutrient and a half a Whirlflock tablet, so I don't have to worry about those as I'm putting the yeast, or as I'm putting the hops in. And it can take care of the half tablet. I didn't crush it, it's all good. Not worried. It's gonna be pretty bitter, so I don't want to do over bitter by adding the hops too soon, so I'm gonna give it a little bit. Hit that 5-minute announcement and then we'll go ahead and drop them. We've got another 1.5 minutes. Okay, we got 30 seconds. I think I can go ahead and by the time I clear it, get the hops, open the bag, we'll be on time. And see if I can do this without burning my hand. A lot of steam. There we go. Drop that back in there and tie her down. Okay, we got 5 more minutes. I'm gonna go get my little stirrer, should we say. You'll see if you haven't seen it before. That's how I do my whirlpools. It works just great. Okay, I'm getting the hose ready, to get the Jaded Scylla, get my whirlpool going. And I've got about 13 seconds. So I'm just gonna go ahead, kill the heat. Drop this in here before it starts chilling down because I wanna make sure any dust that got on there is dead. We're gonna pitch the hops in here and we're gonna start the whirlpool. It's got a full ounce of Amarillo and Columbus. I know it's not whirlpooling yet, I'll get there. I'm gonna lose a lot of beer just to the hops, but hey, if it comes out amazing, it's worth it. Rather have a smaller amount of amazing beer than a lot of not so good, you know what I mean? Or mediocre. Actually, we're gonna let that settle a little deeper in there. There we go. See how my quick disconnect goes on over here. And there's the other one. Okay, let's get some whirlpooling going before I turn that on. And really, whirlpooling, from everything I've read, is just a matter of agitation. So you don't have to go nuts unless you want to. You know what I mean? And that fits right, it used to fit right in the middle, yep. Right in the middle of my Jaded. Problem is I got too many things in here, so it's gonna be a little rough. Okay, I'm just gonna keep things getting agitated for the next 9.5 minutes. And then we'll go from there, and I'm gonna start chilling it down so we can rock on. Okay, it's official. Raging Bitches. In the container, you see the magnets over here? Silicone coated magnets. It's 5 ounces of hops, like I mentioned, 2.5 Amarillo, 1.5 Columbus, with 1 ounce of Cryo Columbus. So kind of like doing a 6 ounce dry hop to me, with only 5 ounces of hops. Gonna lose some beer, but you know, it is what it is. I did screw up. I forgot to add a pound of corn sugar. I verified my brewhouse efficiencies, which was about 78%. And then I turned around and added the corn sugar. Had to, you know, wash, star sand, stir, get it all up in there. That brought us from the 1.061 to 1.070, which should put us up around the high 7%. You know, 7.7, 7.9. I would have preferred maybe around 7.5, but it's all good. I was hoping for a little lower. I didn't do much to try to get my brewhouse efficiencies up, didn't pull the basket, nothing. But it just was a good day for the beer. It was too hot and too wet for me. We have Wyeast, Belgian, Ardennes, yeast. Ah, yes. And if you've seen this magic trick, yep, keeps the little stir bar from going into the beer. You know what I'm saying? Or future beer, because we make wort, yeast makes beer. But this stuff runs from 65 to as high as 85 Fahrenheit. Really good yeast for someone who has problems with temperature control, but it's not crazy hot. I never really thought about it that way, but I'm gonna run it at around 68 and then let it crank up somewhere around 72, maybe top out around 74 towards the end of the fermentation. Once it gets to the last little bit and I'm seeing the last point or two cranking out, I'll pull the magnets, let that fall inside. Little suggestion, never put the magnets inside of any kind of sock or whatever you're using in there for your hops, because it'll fall in, it'll fill up, you'll go to clean, you'll throw it away and you'll forget your magnets are in there. Been there, done that. I'm not gonna do it under pressure, just using a bubbler. Moving things under pressure, I have no problem with. Moving carbonated beer under pressure is a pain in the butt, and it's a very slow process to avoid losing that carbonation or reducing it. It smells very nice, a little hint of fruit. Very, very mild. More known for spiciness, which is something I definitely appreciate. Does smell good. And I'm gonna pitch half of this. A little more than half, it's all good. And there it's going to work. I have the tilt hydrometer in there. I checked with the Easy Dens, both of them lined up. I'm kind of enjoying verifying things. It's kind of nice. And learning that my final gravities are usually not that accurate, because there's usually some sort of a yeast poop, as I keep calling it, basically sitting on top of the tilt, causing it to give me an invalid or incorrect reading at the very end, which is where the Easy Dens comes in and helps save the day. Notice a lot of people have been hitting the little link, ordering them, getting, I think it's 20 bucks off, which is always nice since I haven't seen a discount anywhere else. Throws me a little chump change eventually, but hey, it's all good. So we're gonna let this ferment, like I said, at 68 Fahrenheit. I'll crank it up closer to 72 after it gets going for a few days, and then maybe taper out around 73, 74, and drop the hops and, you know, rock on. The lighting thing I may have to change. It's kind of bothering me. You can see some of the bright lights are not as diffused, but it is what it is. Cheers. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing, definitely appreciate it. Hit the like button. If you got a question, comment, if you've ever had a Raging Bitch from Flying Dog, let me know. Remember, this is on rye, so I modified it, and I modified it again. Cheers.